Hello, dear friends. Here we are. Yes, this is the countdown to the 12th U.S. Spiritist Symposium. It is a joy, and we are only 13 days away. I can't believe it either. The time is coming about when we're completing a 12-year cycle of these beautiful meetings that have been created with the purpose of bringing forth Spiritism in the United States to all the different states, different cities in the US with our own efforts in the United States of America. There is nobody in this world that is more important than each one of us. Of course, there is nobody who is standing out in the love of God. Do you think Mother Teresa is more loved because she became Mother Teresa? Or the Dalai Lama is more loved because he's the Dalai Lama? I don't think so. I think it's the reverse. Mother Teresa probably loves God more than most people on earth. I think that Divaldo Franco very likely loves God more than many people on the earth. But God loves you and I and them in the same way. How do I know? Law of equality. If you go to the Spirit's book by Allan Kardec, Kardec discloses the questions and answers in his dialogue with the superior spirits through the mediums of the time. In this beautiful exchange that is published in the third part of the Spirit's book. The laws, the divine and natural laws, one of them the law of equality. We're all equal, equal, equal in potential, equal to be unfolded, of course, and equal in being loved by God unconditionally. And God also does not love you and I more than, you know, when we were created. And God's not going to love us more tomorrow. Why? Attributes of God. God doesn't change. He doesn't think twice like, uh-oh, I will love Vanessa more because now she is finally understanding the right way of living. No. But I most certainly love God more today than yesterday. And probably you too. So all of us who are here are being invited tonight to celebrate the beauty of coming closer and turning up the light inside and out. And the 12th U.S. Spiritist Symposium is certainly the way to go. Allow me, because our guest is just about to connect with us. And we're just a step away. You know, this is live. Live is live. There is no protocol. You know, at Cardiac Radio, once when we started very responsibly, we used to have a very, not too tight, but a good outline for the programs. Right now, pretty much we got our hands on it, but we still do a major outline out of responsibility. Though this is informal, but there is responsibility. We cannot do everything unscripted, thinking that we are so good, so good, so good that things just come by inspiration. No. Divaldo Franco himself, before he gives his talks, he has a mental outline of his talks. So he doesn't go there and say, I'm a medium, I'm going to speak whatever the spirits want me to speak. Every time I was with him and how to share and others who are responsible, they have a scripted outline, at least in their minds. Of course, if the spirits come and change the course of events for the better, they are flexible. Okay, so also we are here together, and I'm waiting for my friend to come in. And if just a millisecond here. Okay, so let us wait and see. Meanwhile, I want to bring your attention to the importance of the symposium by going back to this issue of the Spiritist magazine. If you go to issue 25, which is this one, okay, just go spiritistmagazine.org and you're going to find it. Issue April, June 2014. We're going to find a summary of Chico Xavier in the United States of America in 1965, 1966. And we're going to find out how important it is to really make this happen in the English language. Chico Xavier very responsibly, he studied English and he did all he could to learn English and also to even pay for his books to be published in the United States of America. I have the contracts, the photocopy of the contracts. And he um, also recommended his closest friends, including Salim Haddad, who was the one who co-founded the Spiritist Center in North Carolina, to do it all in English, always. And he used to exchange letters with Haddad, always saying, you know, it's very important that we do this in English. Don't give up. Keep on going and send me the literature since I cannot go back for now because he was overloaded with work in Brazil. He kept on informing himself of the English language, he used to say to Haddad. Okay, so if you go to this issue 25, you're gonna see the beauty of these teachings that are brought to us by Chico Xavier. In a minute, I have our friend right here with us, and I'm gonna open the line for him. But if you go to the very editorial, a unique editorial, our Spiritist magazine revolutionizes the way you're doing editorials as well, because this is not a standard magazine. But we summarized right here and now the Chico Xavier Haddad and the first Spiritist Center in the USA. And here says a summary of all the studies that Carlos and I did when we were there. This is just to go to the app of the Spiritist magazine. If you haven't seen the app, there is an app of the Spiritist magazine, which is free of charge. You just go there and you can see the issues and read it free of charge. Or you can go to the website spiritistmagazine.org, buy your copy through our partner HP MagCloud, or you can read through the PDF that we make it available, okay? To talk about the beauty of the Spiritist Symposium, which is solely in English. There are no translations. We count on the efforts of the people who are doing the bread and butter of the Spiritist movement in the United States, and our hats to each one of them, because they are courageous, they are brilliant. Only God knows what they do each and every day to make this happen. And for the United Spiritist United States Spiritist Federation, our hats as well, for they kept this beautiful effort up and running and always improving, always progressing and boosting it around the country. So who is here with us? A person who has been also on the behind the scenes and is going to be at the symposium this year again to help out. Who is he? Adriano Barbo, how are you?
Hello, Vanessa. How are you? How are everybody? Good
Thank you,
to hear
Adriano.
you all.
Thank you for being with us, Adriano, from the Mount Vernon Spiritist Center, upstate New York. The Mount Vernon Spiritist Center, right, Adriano, turned 10 years last year. together with the Inner Enlightenment Spiritist Society, with the Texas Center, with the center in San Diego, and also with the center in Virginia, and maybe others. And we were just talking about these efforts of making of the Spiritism in the United States. And I remember, Adriano, when you embrace the cause also in the English language. Would you like to share with our friends a little bit about how important it is and how you you really made this effort to embrace Spiritism in the English speaking language? Oh, oh.
Sorry, I guess you had something going on here. Can
It's
you
okay.
hear me?
Yes, yes, we can.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Uh, well, it was a great challenge, and it still is a great challenge. And I guess the greatest challenge is there is no many speaking American participants, and it's because there is more Brazilian speaking Portuguese on the center. Is always the force against the English work. So there's always this excuse that there is not enough Americans or other nations that is speaking English to the center. So they say, you have this stud group, you have these lectures, but you see there's not many coming, and sometimes there's no one. And then you have always to listen them and say, let's be patient, let's do it in English anyways, because we are not denying the need of the Brazilian or other nations as well. It's just that we want to give each one a share of our effort, but it's not always easy. I guess it's not to do the work in English itself is not that difficult for me personally in the Spiritist Center. The greatest difficulty is to convince and gather help of other people to join the work. So that's the greatest challenge. But I guess every step that we go ahead is a victory, and it's worth doing it anyway, even there
It
is
is.
so many people contrary to that what we do.
I know, Adriano. I am not saying this, but to encourage everyone. I remember when you started it and the much that you have been helped. And I remember how often we bring you to Washington, D.C., to our group in D.C., or to our center in Virginia. And I remember how many times you made people cry or really joyful and feel encouraged by sharing your own experience and how you're working it. And the other day, Adriano, I watched the Dalai Lama give a speech in the commencement ceremony of the University of San Diego, and it made me feel more admiration for him because his humility and for speaking in English, though he's not as fluent as he is in his own language, but
Yes.
he made an effort, and I've heard everybody whom I saw him speaking or whom I talked to about the video, they say, I admire him more now because he's making an effort and people really value it. This idea that we needed to be as fluent as I think is out of humility. So, and talking about humility, you gave a talk last year about humility and the power of will based on the
Hmm.
book Thought in Life. So thought is life. Where there is a will, there is a way. And here you are, Adriano, right? So you've
Thank
been
you.
to other Spiritist Symposium opportunities too, right? The one in Connecticut or
Yeah, yes, I did. I did in New York, I did in Connecticut, I did in Boston as well. They all had been a great experience for me. You know, I didn't help a lot. I confess I did my best,
uh,
but I really admired, the people that work at most, the speakers, especially the people that work behind the scenes that no one sees them, but they are running around. They are getting ideas. They are really spending a lot of hours that we don't know, to fit in one day event like this. The whole group of people that work together for that, they must have put who knows many hours, countless days together for one day of event. And sometimes the people that goes and rips the greatness of the event. They don't even think how much work have been put together for them. And I guess is more people would at least participate a little bit, get into behind the scenes, they would appreciate more when they go to events like this. And for me, going to these few symposiums and getting to know the people that work behind the scenes before the days and so forth helped me appreciate more the work of the events like this.
yes, Adriano. You know, eh, some people they forget, in Spiritism we study so much about humility. And if we go back to Ben Franklin, when he was 20 years of age, and he said clear cut to us the importance of practicing humility. He tried it himself in his 13 virtue list, right? He said how important humility is as a virtue to be achieved. And he said, emulate Jesus and Socrates. Of course, Socrates, the philosopher. And for us in Spiritism, we consider Jesus our guide and model. So humility was his first thing. So much so that Emmanuel, in one of his messages, talks about, and Euripides Barçanufo as well, talks about the manger as the ultimate lesson for us on the call for humility. He was born in the humblest of all places. And here we are. Sometimes I feel we lose sight when we are making these events of the importance of keeping things simple though organized, and really sharing from the heart. So I think the United States Spiritist Symposium is an opportunity for us to see that this is what happens in the US. We are the ones who are making this the daily spiritist movement here. We're the ones who, you and I and others, who are daily working on this with the community here. And we appreciate the speakers who come from other states or other countries for their encouragement. But when it comes to this national event, the beauty of it all is this beautiful exchange that happens on the behind the scenes. It happens uh, on stage. It happens with the children and youth, all the educators who are there, and all and every volunteer who is preparing every single step for it to happen. So for those who are watching us here, like Andrea Torres from Illinois, saying, I, my difficulty in English is on grammar, but I will not give up because of the poor teacher don't have enough knowledge for teaching properly. Thank you very much. And but no matter what, we are here to try. So of the symposia that you participated, were there highlights that really made you feel like more encouraged to go back to the center in Mount Vernon and do more?
Yes, there's a lot of things that helps me from the start. Uh, the first thing that I appreciate is in the symposium because I'm I'm saying from the perspective of a person who is not only go there as a participant to see, to rip up the lessons of the speeches. I'm as well in the center working daily with the struggles, the difficult relationships of, the volunteers and so forth. When I go to events like this, so there's so many people working together despite our differences. You know, they are able to coordinate a whole day event with so many different activities, and at the same time make it as good as we could see all the events. So, in this perspective, I see that, working in a center as well is inspire me to have more, patience and more, look for more skills to coordinate the people in the center and as well, inspiring in the language itself. So, um, see so many people attending the event despite it being in English, for the Portuguese speaking people. If we see event with 300 people, 200 people, is a good number of people. And we see that, despite the difficulty of many people speaking in English, they still go. They still make effort to go and see the event. So it gives us, the hope as well to come back. So despite the difficulty that we face, we can count on people to come, as I could see all these, these years that we've been as well in English. Uh, we, in the talks that we have mostly the same numbers of participants in English or Portuguese, a little less in English, but compared to the whole activities of the center is a good number. So in this perspective, going to the symposium it helps me a lot in the center, for more, hope and patience to wait the time and still work in English. And of course, as well as the teachings, the the, the talks that is being presented is good as well. And ideas, the connectedness of the ideas. It helps a lot. Plus, there is this share of feelings of fraternity, brotherhood, sisterhood, and it all comes together that we feel good and we feel like nourished and filled
Yeah,
with more, force or energy to, spend ahead in more days and working. So it's a lot of things that helps me with these events.
that not only cardiac radio nourishes souls, the Spiritist Symposium does too. But you're right, you're right. The exchange, I remember scientific meetings, and when I go to the Spiritist Symposium, I see the talks of others. I talk to people on the behind the scenes. They talk about their experiences in their centers, or to new people who are coming in for the first time from different locations in this world. Not only Americans, not only Brazilians, but Colombians, Puerto Ricans, all different nationalities. They come and we feel like, wow, it's like a scientific meeting. You come and exchange and you learn and you share, and we come back, we're like more, our minds open. We need it to open our minds. we need to open our hearts, as you're saying as well, because there is this exchange that is the nourishment. And Adriano, this year, in the 12th U.S. Spiritist Symposium, we're gonna make it happen in Washington D.C. The main the, because it's a special year for the symposium for our planetary transition. We are going to be discussing several topics that are so important, from family to the loss of loved ones, family planning, human equality, ecology, like world sustainability, peacemaking skills, so important, so vital, mental health. There is going to be a whole round table on mental health, then sexuality, education for children and youth, plus the sessions for children and youth throughout the whole day, which is phenomenal because if you think about $10 per children and they stay there being nourished in their souls and bodies from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., you cannot even pay an hour of a babysitter for $10 nowadays. So it's really a work of charity that the symposium is making at this time. Also to give parents an opportunity to learn while their children are also being nourished in the most optimal way. And I know you have a particular um, um, preference for education for children. You really love children. You really think how important it is to be diligent in delivering the Spiritist message to children, to youth. Would you like to talk to those who are watching us about how important this part of the symposium may be for these children and youth, Adriano?
Well, yes. For children and youth, first is it's a great opportunity for them to make new friends in the Spiritist movement. So they feel a sense of more, national. It's not only local thing for them. I
Yeah.
know just few friends in my center, just more local. I don't know nobody else from other states, and especially for teenagers, they like to feel like in a way more important. Their their centers, so it's a good thing for them. And and I guess in this kind of relationship that they they experience in the symposium, because it's a whole day too, they have a lot of opportunities, especially for the teenagers, in this perspective, is that they will be exposed to each other more time, so they will have more time to show their skills as well. For example, in our center, if one of our teenagers go, he's good at music and playing guitar and so forth. In that way, he'll be able, to connect with some others that will like music, or it be, with others that as well play music. In that way, will be, a connection between them, and for the future times they have someone to chat on the internet, not only friends from school that doesn't share the same ideas as they share with the Spiritist view. It's good for them because it strengthens their their faith or their certainty in whatever teachings, in the teachings that they are receiving in the Spiritist center. And as of course the teachings itself that they are receiving in the symposium, the lessons that we will provided for them will be a great help for them as well. And it works for the smaller children as well, for the little children, 5, or the ages that they go. It's good for them as well to see that numberless of children are spiritists as well in the United States. Not their local, like 3, 4 children in a spiritist center. I guess if I were 6 or 7 or 8 or 10 years old, if I were in an event like this with so many children, I will feel much more stronger in a sense of, I'm in the right place, and I have a numberless of children across the nations that share with me the same ideas. It's not only my parents there in Connecticut or in New York that have these crazy ideas about reincarnations, about spirits, and so forth. There's many people, and it's just wide. It's from a perspective of a children. I mean, it's a lot because sometimes when we just bring the children to the spiritual center home and doesn't make this connection of other centers, of other children that share the same ideas, they feel a little bit off isolated from the rest of the society,
Yes.
from the school. But being in an event like this so big, so imagine what kind of imaginations they might have, and about the event, about the future of spiritism, about the future of themselves. If I were children in an event like this, of course I would go out there with big imaginations about whatever I have received in the class, the people that I have met, and so forth will grow inside of them, of course. And coming back to the centers will give them a lot of things to talk about, new
That's
friends,
right.
new people they met, and and we'll share. And I guess the parents that are bringing the children to the symposium, they are really investing in their family, and they invest in the future of their children. And they can't really evaluate the greatness of this. They will see the fruit. They will see the good consequence of it, of course, in the future. And I can say very near future, when they come back to their own centers, local center, they're gonna see the kind of conversations that we'll share with their friends in the center that didn't go. Then it's good. Besides, of course, the teachings
Yeah,
that they received there.
you're right. And I tell you, people love you, Adriano, and we love you too. We admire you, and you here represent today for all of us in the United States of America. And forgive me for saying, but for all those who believe that it's too hard to do it in English, that it's impossible, that it's a stretch, that it's just for the future. Here it is, I present to you the future. Adriano Bible is creating. I know the center still has activities in Portuguese, but it doesn't matter. Many big activities there are only in English, large events, and you also contribute to the English speaking efforts in this nation. So our hats to you. I don't want to, it's not about pride, etc. It's about encouragement. That's why we're encouraging also our dear soul. She's saying she wants to come. Please network, soul. It's worthwhile. I tell you, I cannot recommend enough. And the importance of each and every one of us gathering together for the prayer. Nora Brazil is here. She's saying, when I lived in Brazil, I was nervous about my Portuguese, but everyone was so patient and helpful. Now it's a huge part of me. I never gave up because I really wanted to learn about Spiritism. When I returned back home to the States, I was nervous that I wouldn't come across Spiritism. I'm so grateful to find it in English, although it's beautiful to also study in Portuguese, even in Spanish. Thank you so much, Nora, for sharing this. And I agree, it's not about any language, but the language that most people speak in this world and in this country. It's undisputable. In both realms, majority of the people speak English and they won't understand anything if we don't speak the language. I'm not going to say anything anymore because the encouragement tonight comes from Emmanuel. And Emmanuel, that's how we're going to wrap up. I know, we want to stay longer and listen more to Adriano, but come to the symposium and talk to him right there in person, right, Adriano?
Yes.
But
God's
I'm
will
gonna
will be
read
there.
just a tiny bit, Adriano, before we do the final prayer, asking for vibrations. Chapter 73 of the book Living Spring by Emmanuel, Fraternal Encouragement. He says, and according to his riches in glory, my God will meet all your needs through Christ Jesus. Paul to the Philippians 4:19. Do not think you are alone in the purifying struggle, for the Lord will meet all our needs. Look up to the Almighty. From time to time, look behind you. If you are in a position to serve, then do so and press on. Remember your brothers and sisters who live in indigence without any resources. Think about the mothers and fathers who must listen to their children crying with no means of drying their tears. Observe the sick whose circumstances have taken them from their homes. Stop for a moment and give a friendly look to a homeless child. Emmanuel goes on and on and on, and then he comes to this point. When you manage to overcome your afflictions in order to create joy for others, then other people's happiness will seek you out wherever you may be to bring your happiness of your own. When you plant the joy of living in the hearts around you, then very soon the flowers and fruit of your sowing will enrich your pathway. That's why we're doing this countdown. That's why we're sharing these teachings in the English speaking language, sharing the joy of living, singing the songs of joy according to the good news and the promised consoler. So, Adriano, we need to ask you, can you please wrap this beautiful conversation? We're only 13 days away, but we need to pray together to ask for protection, good vibrations, inspiration, and strength to all and everyone who is going to work there and those who are going to come and attend in both realms of life. Can we do this?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
All right. Let us focus more now in our inner space, the most sacred space of our spirit, there where the seed of the greatest love of all lies, where God has put it when He created us to burst out throughout our journey through reincarnation to reincarnation, burst in our light through our actions, through our living. And let us look as well to the deepest reaches of the universe, where God as well has put His love. Almighty Father, Creator of the universe that maintains everything in balance, we know that your love is spread throughout all this infinite space that connects us within. Lord, we are thankful for your blessings towards our planet, towards human beings, towards us this moment. Thank you for bringing us together at this moment for this prayer. And we want your love to embrace us and connect us to the greatest source that is you, to the source of energy that spreads to the universe. to fulfill our souls with courage, with hope, perseverance, giving us strength to go on, march on, in whatever circumstances that lies ahead of us. Despite any challenge, we know that you are providing us with strength and energy. We feel your presence in us. We feel that you love us much. And we feel great by feeling that we remember those ones spread through this planet that are suffering, especially those ones that are yet don't know your love, yet don't know your teachings. May they receive our greatest thoughts. They may as well feel a little bit of love that we are receiving now. And with this symposium, that many hands, many minds, and the both realms of life are joining together to make it happen. May you, Lord, prepare our spirits to serve you humbly, to keep in mind that if we connect to you, the source, and then we are filled with the need to do. Lord, please as well prepare every heart, every spirit, incarnate and discarnate, that will go to this symposium. They may beforehand be prepared, be visited by one of your messengers. So by the time that we are all joined together in this event, we feel connected, we feel sympathy for each other, we feel brotherhood and sisterhood as a great family. And please, Jesus, our greatest master, be with us, helping us overcome our weaknesses and really using our best to the best of the people, our brothers and sisters. And so be it. Amen.
What a joy, Adriano. Thank you so much. Thank you, Adriano, for being with us,
Thank you.
for your time, for your effort, and hope to see you soon in DC, right, Rudy? Thank you, Enilda. Thank you, Amanda Andrade, Nora Brazil, all of you friends. And don't forget, National Day of Spiritism on April 18th. Please record your prayers in your phone. Send it to info@spiritist.us. It's a 24-hour day of prayers and messages. You can read a message, say a prayer, just say the prayer, just read the message. It doesn't have limit of time. Of course, we wouldn't go too long because we need more people to occupy also the 24 hours, but invite other friends as well and join in, okay? Thank you, Adriano. Thank you, friends. And until tomorrow, God willing, we'll be back with another day on the countdown for the 12th U.S. Spiritist Symposium. Thank you, friends.